Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, hooligan shills, desolate, vassals, meat sacks, pink slime, Benghazi watchers, party line drones. I'm a useful idiot. Today I want to talk about the Benghazi hearings yet again. But this is just kind of how it is, and this is what I would expect from a situation like that. Now, as it turns out, the Obama administration has released a bunch of emails from the Benghazi incident, and less than a day after these emails were released, the GOP is spreading copies around that have altered phrasing in order to bolster their case. And this is really despicable, but not surprising whatsoever, and entirely predictable. Reminds me of the fact that the entire GOP convention, election convention last year, was all based on the completely taken out of context Obama speech about "you didn't build that." And here's a completely taken out of context, fabricated lie. And the entire Republican convention was based on that slogan. And let me preface, like I often have to do on these videos, I'm a conservative. I want the GOP to be better than the Democrats, but they aren't. It's just as simple as that. There's two halves of a status quo party. That's the status quo GOP and the status quo Democrats. And that's why I have a problem with these kind of scandals that unfold in all these hearings and investigations. And what we're going to have is a repeat of the spectacle of the Clinton administration, where because the Republicans don't like any of the policies of the liberal administration, and I certainly don't blame them there, but I have an issue with their tactics. And what they did with the Clinton was they bogged down the second half of his administration in hearings and endless hearings that eventually come up with nothing. And look at the end result. Bill Clinton is a towering figure in the liberal party, and a towering figure in politics, and a respected giant across the world, except for all us little people who know what he really is. But I digress. So here we go again. The GOP couldn't just let this play out the way it was supposed to. They've already got to fuck with all the details in order to compound scandal on top of scandal, of which they are both a part. And this proves once again one of my other points too, that we cannot have the government, whether it's Republicans and Democrats, or whether it's Republicans investigating Democrats, or whether it's Democrats investigating Republicans. We cannot have our own government looking into these things, because it's always a partisan witch hunt, like I pointed out in the other video. And this news story about altering the Benghazi emails is just another example of that. And I'll say it again, I wish the GOP was better than that. And they have a situation where perhaps we could find some justice. Perhaps we could put a lot of pressure on the Obama administration. Perhaps we could tarnish Hillary Clinton's reputation. And that would all be great. But certainly these efforts at fraud do not help the cause. But in the end, of course, this doesn't matter, because the stories have already been released. So nobody's really going to pay attention to the fact that the GOP is now spreading fraudulent copies of the Benghazi emails around, because that kernel's already been planted and the GOP lynch mob is already active. But there we go, just more of the same, and here we go with another story that just pretty much clarifies and legitimizes my observations that this is a partisan witch hunt. Unfortunately, anything good and noble that should come out of this will not, because we have a corrupt government investigating the corrupt government. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.